Hi, I'm Enzo. Welcome to Cuckoo Studio Review. This is a program to evaluate audio products from the perspective of a mixing engineer. We don't need to introduce too much about Sennheiser. It's a powerhouse in the headphones industry and has countless iconic products under the name. The HD600 headphones could be the most classic products in the past few decades, and it is the most popular choice for myself and other music practitioners around me. But is it really that good? Let's get into it and find out. The quality of the headphone are very solid. From its modeling, I can tell these were designed back in 1997. The body of the old HD600 is covered in marble texture plastics. I found the design very classic and tasteful. The new HD600, HD650, and HD660S all derive their designs from this model. However, they have removed the classic marble texture. Will this lead to a loss of character? Different people may have different opinions. The very open back design, kind of erotic, you can see everything inside it. When I put old HD600 over my head, the ear cups and headbands feel very comfortable to me. But for new HD600, it's a little bit tight for my big head, and the cables are replaceable. Distortion test. The headphones' low-end distortion seems to be more noticeable, but similar low-end distortion results happen on my KH310 and other good speakers, so I won't treat it as a big problem for now. For mid to high frequency distortion can be controlled within a good range, even at high sound pressure level. Frequency response. Due to the Harman standard in my case, in high frequency range, there are two reducers near 4 to 5,000 and 11,000 Hz. It will produce a warmer, thicker sound in the subjective sense of hearing. Low frequencies have some degrees of roll-off, but most of the time I'll be satisfied with this low frequency magnitude. By the way, the HD600 had slightly different mid and high frequency response from batch to batch, but the overall trend is similar. Now let's enter the Cuckoo Studio mixing space. Two high frequency reduce make the bright instruments sound warmer, so the instrument position is slightly lower in vertical space. High frequency percussions for me are in the right position without any acceleration. Comparing with flat low-end Harman target headphones, kick drums and bass are slightly smaller in size. Now let's look at the feel from the side. The separation of instruments sound great. In complicated music arrangement situation, you can still hear each instrument clearly. And because of the well-rounded frequency response, the body of the instruments feels very three-dimensional. However, when you compare it with speakers like NS10 and GMP450 Pro headphone, you will find some transient missing. This is not a pair of headphones with fast transient response. The instruments will have a certain smirling effect. It will make them sound like there's extra compression in the playback. In subjective terms, the mid-frequency feels a bit blowed. The characteristics of the diaphragm cannot be compensated by EQing or other means. When comparing with a few other pairs of headphones with EQ flattened, you can still hear this soft feeling of the HD600. But comparisons aside, for a pair of headphones that costs $300 to $400 USD, its performance in this aspect is still at a very high level. If you're upgrading to HD600 from a pair of entry-level headphones, its performance in sound clarity and dynamics should be very satisfactory. To describe my feeling about the HD600 in the most intuitive way, it's like buying an iPhone. Because industry giant has matured technology and production over a long period of time, you can start using these products right out of the box without worrying about anything. It's very stable, but it's like with smartphones. When the newest tech like high refresh rate and wide color gamut appears on phones much cheaper than yours, and you look at your iPhone screen with only 60 frames per second, it might leave you deserving a bit more. But in the end, you're still won over by its well-roundedness, so much that whenever someone asks what phone to buy, you'll still say, of course, the iPhone. This can apply to HD600 in similar way. Although the German Mastro has a great transient performance without a sense of extra compression, its quality control is too poor and the tuning is not acceptable for everyone. The Audio Technica and 50X good in many ways, but the skin can peel off easily and high frequencies are too much for many people. These headphones will always have some great features that appeal to you, but also a few weaknesses that can't be glossed over. The HD600 has no obvious weakness, although there is certainly some room for improvement. But for the price of $300 to $400 USD, everything seems to be good enough. If you are not too harsh about the transient problem and don't care much about sound leakage, the HD600 won't let you down. This is Cuckoo Studio Review. Stay tuned, we'll be continuing to explore the secrets about headphones.